All right. Today marks 69 days until the end of the year. So, right now, I'm going to let you guys know what I'm doing with my 69 days. Shoot. Should I leave that in there? My mama might be watching. Well, that's actually good. So, hey there. How y'all been keeping? All right now. So it's been a few days, actually a couple of weeks, since I've been going throughout my 100-day challenge. Now, a really quick and fast backstory on how I got to this. So I did a 30-day challenge about a month ago. And while I was doing it, it kind of like gave me that confidence to go a longer period of time trying to do this challenge thing. So I said, why don't I take it until the end of the year? And it started out as a 120-day challenge, but my family, we went on vacation, we went running around the city. I actually had other work to do, and yeah, the whole thing just went out the window. After that week, I said I'm going to cut the days down to about 100 days. And that actually gave me a little time to reflect a little bit on what I really wanted to accomplish up until the end of the year. I kind of put things into, let's say, 3 buckets. So that first bucket that I came up with was the big 3. So in that big 3 bucket are 3 non-negotiable things, achievements, goals, whatever you want to call it, that I placed in there. And no matter what, that day that it's scheduled, that week, whatever it is, that thing has to get done no matter what. Like I said, nothing can get in the way of it for the most part, because as you see, as things go along, yeah, you might have to be a little flexible with that. My second bucket was what I like to call my secondary bucket. And in that secondary bucket were things that, if they don't happen, it's not going to be terrible. But these are also things that need to get done. But they're not as important or imperative to my goal success, if we want to call it that. It's not as imperative as my big 3. And then in my last bucket they're kind of like those add-on goals and situations or things like that I kind of just threw in there because they're good to do, they're good to have. Like one of them, for example, is drinking at least 44 ounces of water every single day. Sometimes I do more than that, and unfortunately there's times that I do less than that, but that goes into a bucket, or I should say little smaller, not as big of a deal as the big 3 or the secondary goals. That's where they go. So I have my big 3, then my secondary, and it's actually 4 of these secondary, and the last bit of flex throw in, those kind of adjust and move because sometimes they're a little more time specific. So they can actually be up to 10. But as time goes on, they can be as small, or I guess it can go as far down as only 1. The things that are in my big 3 bucket, or the 3 things that are in my big 3 bucket, are reading something, because I have a goal that by the end of the year, I want to have read 5 books. So reading's in there. Then I have what I call my 350, which is I have to do something every single day, every single week for my business. And the last thing in there is my devotion time or meditation for some people. But mine is devotion. I am a church boy through and through. I really am. And so that time is very important to me, and I want to make sure that it happens. So that's my last one. Now, the 4 things in my secondary bucket are journaling, working out, me being creative in some type of way, and then quality time with my wife. Now, these things are important to me. Now, they're not in my big 3 only because these things do not happen, I guess, on a schedule as much. So my journaling, I try to get that in every single day. It's on my schedule to do it every single day. I try to get it done in the mornings so that I can kind of like have like the brain dump thing, and I can then write out the things that I am very grateful for, and then I kind of move into what my intentions are for that day. Now, the workout, I am on a mission to be the fittest person in my friend circle. Now, that also means that I have to get my nutrition in order. I have to be on a schedule as far as my workouts are concerned, and I have to be focused when I'm working out. So no distractions, no phone is around, nothing like that. It's just me in the gym or my office, because I haven't been to the gym in a little while, but I have weights, I got all that stuff, and I'm ready to go every single day. All right, you guys don't know, but I was a sexy something, okay? Like boom, bow, plow. All right, I was sexy. But what guard your wife, huh? That's where I was. That's right. Like, keep her away from me. Being creative is very important to me. I have to have that outlet, or I do start to get a little antsy, and it's just like one of those things. It's almost like working out. I have to put in that time. I have to be focused. I got to be able to sit down and really do something creative, and that doesn't always mean something like this. I don't have to. I don't have to like design a website or do branding for a company or a client. Sometimes it can be just painting, and I'm going as low as painting a room. It just has to be something where I can have some type of creative outlet, because that's something that I want to grow. I really want to be the best that I possibly can. I don't have to have any of my artwork displayed somewhere or get some big award for having the best, I guess, cinematic sequence on a video or a commercial project or something like that. But I just need to be just as good as I can possibly be building the skill that I want to build. That is a bad sentence. The last thing in this bucket is quality time with the wife. Stop. So I know what some of you might be saying. Not everybody, but I know that some people are already saying it. Hold on here. Let me explain myself. So the reason that quality time with the wife is not in the big 3 bucket, because I know that's what you're wondering. Why in the world don't you have that in the non-negotiable bucket? This is why. Because of the responsibilities that my wife and I have, the type of quality time that I'm speaking of is hard to fit in that big 3. So my wife and I, we actually love spending time with each other. My wife she's fun, she's hilarious, she's a really awesome lady. And did that make me sound like an old-timey country person from like long time ago's days? She's a swell lady, my wife. Yes, she is. She's She's a humdinger. My wife and I have fun just going to Publix or Target or any of these other places together. We can entertain ourselves quite nicely when we are out just hanging with each other. But the quality time that I'm referring to here is that time we can like break away, maybe go on a staycation or a vacation somewhere. So it really does depend on our schedules. Now we do put in like a time for us to just be around each other, just talking with each other. We do the pillow talk thing, and stuff like that. We have our cuddle time that we put in there just to make sure we get those different things in because they're really important to our relationship. But the quality time I'm really referring to is when we can, pack up and leave and go somewhere and not think about none of y'all. Just us together in each other's company. Loving. Now that last bucket's, even though I kind of touched on it before, it still is a little, I wouldn't say it's difficult to explain, but there's a lot of little things in there. But the things that I put in this bucket, I do want to track. Because like I said, some of them are a little more time bound than the other two buckets, because it might only be for that week, or it might only be for a month or a few days or things like that. And sometimes when I'm thinking of what I really need to put in the bucket, sometimes they don't need to be there. And that's why I said the number can kind of like go up and down, but I leave that bucket there for other little things. One of the things is I want to get my bike fixed, and I want to do a lot of the work myself. I consider myself a handyman, sorta, and I do like tinkering and things like that. So getting my bike back in total working order is a goal of mine. But if it doesn't happen by the end of the year, I'm okay with it. So it's like little things like that. Yes, I do want to get it done. If it doesn't happen by January 1st, it has no real bearing on the accomplishments and things that I want to attain by the end of the year. This is what's working for me. And the thing about it is it's my challenge. So just about anything goes in terms of how I need to get it done, how I want to get it done, and the best way that works for me so that I end up getting it done. And I've tried so many different things before. Like I kind of mentioned that I've done the checkbox thing, but breaking my day down as far as me doing it in time blocks, that just works. Doing it this way, it just works. It simplifies it for me so that I can focus on my big three bucket, my secondary bucket, and then that last little, piecemeal bucket. I don't even know what to call it. And it just helps me wrap my head around what needs to be done. Because for me, at the end of the year, when I really sit down and start thinking about where I am and how I want to end out the year, sometimes I get real antsy and real anxious because I will sometimes look and see, man, there's a few things on my year list that I wanted to get done that, oh man, I'm not even close. Like what am I gonna do? It's like we got 3 months left, 4 months left, and I can get, I don't want to say it's an overwhelming feeling, but I know that sometimes it can be, I guess, categorized that way. And for me to sit back and not try to get everything done and kind of like rush my way through it, now I sit back and I focus on just a few things. And yeah, this I don't want to say there's a nuance to it. That's definitely not the word I want to use, but even inside of those big three, goals that I have set, yes, there's the reading, and I want to read 5 books. There's my 350, which is again that actually talks about my business, or is referring to my business. So there's things inside of that I want to get done, things that I want to accomplish. And then my devotion, there's certain things in there that I want to get done, but it still allows me to sit down and focus, because I'm not focusing on this big list of things. And it might feel that way because, again, with the big 3, there's things inside of each one of those things, and those things in my secondary list, there might be a few things in there, but it's still a little easier for me to wrap my head around. Like with reading, I can read whatever I want to read as long as I get it read, right? Because that's the goal. The goal is for me to read, for me to expand that mental side of things. So as long as I am reading something that either interests me or pushes me in the direction of my goals and different things that I want to do, and where I want to go in my life, I think it counts. It's my challenge, right? So I build things around these things that are going to keep me engaged, that I want to accomplish. And I would encourage anybody to go ahead and do something very similar. And it doesn't have to be like mine. It can be only 3 things that you're focusing on. And it could be 10 things that you're focusing on. The big idea around this is to come up and lock in a method that you know you're going to get done within that time limit that you set. And mine is until the end of the year, or I should say until the first of next year, because that's when I'm going to sit down, reevaluate, and I'm going to come up with another 100-day challenge or a 90-day challenge, because I think I'm going to start flipping this and do it kind of like quarterly. But that's it. That is what this was all about. And I hope someone got something out of it. But I don't. Yes, I do hope so. I hope somebody got something out of it. And yeah, so that's a little, yes. So until next time, until next week, Until next week, if you can't always see the bright side, spit polish the dark side. How about that? Shine that thing up.